you start to see that there's a separation between what that dream looks like as opposed to what you're living right now. And that separation is what is creating is what is not allowing you to achieve that. So the question is that, so there was a post that I put up a while ago, a couple of days ago, about how can I get that from here, from the book, Asking is Given. And the question is, how can you, what does it mean by holding yourself in a vibrational holding pattern that does not match the vibration of your desire? So it says that the reason that you have not already gotten what you desire is because you're holding yourself in a vibrational holding pattern that does not match the vibration of your desire. That is the only reason ever. And it's important for you to now understand that if you will stop and think about it, or more important, stop and feel about it, that you can identify this very discourse. Okay. So what that means is that, like, in life, or like who we are, everybody is made up of like energy, or everybody's made up of this thing called vibration. So vibration is like, it's kind of like if you break down this stuff. So imagine that this is a table, and then you got like a computer, and then we got like our body. If you break it down, they're made up of these things called atoms, and atoms are like these tiny little things, right? That you know, like oxygen and like hydrogen and water. It's all made up of these little atoms put together. Same thing, like our body is created from a lot of different atoms put together, like fluoride, chlorine, like, you know, all those tiny things. Same thing as this computer, and same thing as this table, right? So those atoms, when you break them down, they're made up of smaller things called protons, neutrons, and electrons. And what holds them in place is what's called energy or vibration. So it holds those things together, right? So everything that you see, everything that exists in the world, the air we breathe, like in the universe and whatever, right, is all made up of this stuff, and it's all tied together by this thing called energy or vibration. And vibration is just that, the speed at which that thing is moving, okay? So when you think a thought, or you dream a dream, or you have something that you want to go for, there's a certain energy attached to that, right? So like, I'll give you an example. There is a difference between the feeling of being healthy and the feeling of being not healthy. They're two very different feelings, right? So that feeling is like the vibration, right? So every dream that you have has a feeling attached to it, and that it's almost like the thing that makes up that dream. It has a very different feeling from what other things are. So if you dream of like, you want to go to, for example, like China or something like that, that's very different from the feeling of wanting to travel to America, right? They're both traveling, but the feeling is different. Yeah, that makes sense? So the vibration is different for that, right? There's similar goals, but the feeling is different. So just like everything that we have, like everything we can imagine, every goal that we have has a very unique feeling attached to it. Very, very unique, right? For example, some people might want money, but some people might want a lot of money, and other people, they might want just some money. But each of those has a different feeling attached to that amount, or whatever that it is for them, right? And every person is different. Their goal has a different feeling attached to each of those things. So the only reason why you don't have the goal that you're looking for is that the feeling that you're feeling right now, every single day, day to day, is different from that feeling. Does that make sense? So if your goal is to travel to like America, right, there's a certain feeling attached to that. And if you're living here now and you notice that, oh, I'm not feeling this, I'm feeling this way, what my life looks like right now, you start to see that there's a separation between what that dream looks like as opposed to what you're living right now. And that separation is what is creating is what is not allowing you to achieve that. Does that make sense? So in order to achieve that, you have to almost like trick your mind into believing that you have this feeling already right now, that you're not going to achieve it someday in the future, that right now in this moment, you are experiencing what that feels like right now. So what most people do is they go, I have this dream of becoming a millionaire or whatever it is, and then they look at their own life where they are right now, and they say, this is very far away from that, and it makes them feel bad, right? And when they feel bad, then they definitely are not there, which means that's just continuing to hold them away from that goal, right? And this is what happens, right? Because people they look at their own life, their own situation right now, and they say, well, I definitely do not have this. And you either feel bad about that, and if you do feel bad about that, then that is definitely not going to help you get to that goal. So what this talk is talking about, or what they mean, is like the only reason why people don't achieve that goal is because they're not experiencing that right now, right? They're always focusing on where they are today, and they notice how far away from that experience that they're existing right now. And that is the main reason why they don't achieve that, is because they notice the difference between the two, and they're only focusing on where they are right now, which is the problem. All right. So the only way to achieve that is to get yourself more into feeling what that feels like.
Not thinking.
You can think about it. The thinking is part of it. So part of the thinking is how do you train your mind to think like that and believe that, right? If you can believe right now, if you use your imagination to believe what that experience feels like in this day to day, every single day, then you are already living that as if you're already there traveling to America, right? Every day you're experiencing what that feels like. So you're not focusing on where you are right now, you're actually living that experience every single day. And when you do that a lot, you then build a habit around believing that that's the case, which creates the belief that that is possible. And when you create the belief that that is possible, then it happens, right? The problem is that for most people, the thing that they're focusing on is too far away, and they never believe that it's going to happen. And if you always focus on, I don't believe that this is going to happen, you keep thinking about it and you feel bad, you're never going to get it, because you always feel bad. It's like you're not changing from where you are. That's the problem, right? So that's why they say that the only thing that's the only reason that that is happening, that people don't achieve that, is because of that separation, right? But that separation is only because in your mind you're thinking like that, right? Because you can imagine yourself to have that right now and fully believe that in your imagination, right? If you pretend that you're on a beach, and you can really pretend like you really, like, if you get into like a meditative state and you close your eyes and you just listen to the waves of the beach and feel the sun and all that kind of stuff, you're in that moment, you're actually on the beach. You're not here in the room. You're in your mind, you're actually there, you're experiencing that, you feel the feelings, right? And your brain doesn't know the difference between what is imagination and is actually really happening. It's like, when you watch a movie and something scary happens, but it's not real. It's on a TV screen, but you get scared, and your body gets feels it, right?
Yeah.
So your mind believes that that's real and it's happening to your body, right? Same thing in the imagination. If you can really get yourself to imagine that goal that you're looking for and really imagine that, really believe that, not just like, oh yeah, I believe that, but actually really believe it, you feel it. If you do that a lot, and then you can just automatically get into that feeling, then every day you can live in that without actually having to travel there. You can just live in that space all the time, and that'll start to put you into a better place to achieve that. That's what they're talking about. Does that make sense? Yeah. Yeah. Does it? Because at that point it doesn't matter whether you travel there. It doesn't matter anymore, because you're already living it in your every day. You're living what that feels like, right? So it doesn't matter whether you go or not anymore, right? Whether you go or not is not relevant anymore, because you already know what that feels like. So then this is how people, they're going through very difficult situations. They can exist in the very difficult situations because they understand that the current circumstance is irrelevant. It doesn't matter, right? They mentally know how to separate from what is happening right now and be where they want to be in their mind, because no one can control how you think. That's the only place that no one can control. Only you can determine that. Only you can create that, right? But the problem with that is that because you're the only person that can create that, you have to create that. Like, no one can give it to you, right? You have to put in the work to do it yourself, to create that experience, which most people don't want to do, right? That's a problem, right? Makes sense.